Hi everyone, it's me, Billo. Now on some of these news stations lately and all over the interwebs, there's been a lot of talk and confusion, apparently, about apples and bananas. Apple, banana. Now if you're like me, you no doubt find this remarkable. Apple, banana. Most news sources do not present impartial news. Indeed, they present news with partiality, intended to reinforce the audience's confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms pre-existing beliefs and understandings. Confirmation bias also gives disproportionately less consideration to alternative possibilities. And this is important because of how it makes consumers feel.
And how does that make you feel?
It validates our self-image while simultaneously reinforcing the idea that there are certain dolts out there who don't get it like we do. Banana. Before 24-hour network news, we had to rely on news from the three major networks. Back in those days, each network was fighting for a 33% market share. They all knew that if they showed a bias, they risked losing half of their market share for all of their programming. When the world's first 24-hour news network first came onto the scene, they were very careful not to show any bias. From then until now, things have changed drastically. The market is so fragmented, with each station fighting for a smaller percentage, that pandering to specific biases is now good for business. The news can now deliver unquestioned propaganda to zealot viewers who accept it as though it were sacrosanct. Alleluia, alleluia. And forget about ever trying to question the news. Try asking something like, "Hey Bob, who are these people? And why don't they know the difference between these two fruits?" If you try that, then you become one of them. You must be some sort of flat earth, tinfoil hat wearing, a Yingling drinking, conspiracy thinking, NASCAR loving, Trump loving, gun toting, climate denying, misogenic, racist, sexist, fascist, neo-Nazi, xenophobic, Islamophobic, homophobic, anti-vaccine. There are two troubling parts about this whole thing. The first part is that our news sources, by their tone, intentionally fracture us into segments.
Look, obviously, everyone knows the difference between apples and bananas. These people are just playing games.
Of course we know the difference between apples and bananas. It's just that a certain segment of the country apparently doesn't want to admit it.
The second part is the most insidious part. The second part is that our news sources intentionally fail to inform us and discourage intellectual discourse. Apple, banana. All right, now I'm going to run the apple and banana analogy right into the ground. We all know what is an apple and we all know what is a banana. But what are the actual differences between the two? How could some people get them confused? Who are these people? Where do they live? What percentage of the population gets these two fruits confused? What are the similarities? What are the differences? Are all apples the same? Are all bananas the same? Are all apples sweet? And I'll even make it easy. They don't need to change anything that they're currently doing. I'd like to see additional but germane information appear somewhere else on the screen. It will involve work, it'll involve research, and it will look something like this. Welcome back to Fixed News. I'm your host, Bill O. Today, CNN continues its 5-part series into the differences between apples and bananas, but it's not without controversy. CNN has received a cease and desist order from HIT Entertainment, the producers of the popular children's show Barney and Friends. HIT Entertainment claims ownership of the apples and bananas comparison from an earlier hit song and video of the same name. A spokesperson for CNN said in a statement earlier today, quote, "We had no intention in any way to harm or besmirch the good name of Barney and his friends." CNN has a long history of supporting both children's television and educational television in general. And now, with a needless and unnecessary reaction to this story, we bring in someone who is tacitly relevant, giving no additional relevant information before we go to commercial and float on to the next segment. I'm reminded of the old Latin saying that goes, contra principa negatum non est disputandum, which roughly translates to, those who fail to read the news are uninformed, and those who do read the news are misinformed. It's Latin. Go ahead, look it up. For additional information, look up your media bias using this media bias chart, which you can find at this web address. You're going to wonder how I did that, aren't you?